Hi friends, I am super happy to have you here with me today. We are going to be doing a lovely short vinyasa flow in honor of the summer solstice, the longest day of the year, a day full of life and vitality. So let's get started by centering ourselves on our mat. Find a comfortable seat that works for you. That may be any form of a cross-legged position. You might sit on your knees. I do recommend having a prop of some kind. You don't have to have an expensive yoga block. You can use a big book if you still have one of those giant dictionaries. You might use a cooking pot, anything that's stable and can support your weight. And what I really recommend doing is for our comfortable seat, sitting on your prop or on a cushion so that your hips are above your knees. Take a few deep breaths here. Sit up nice and straight through the spine so that our head and our shoulders are stacked above our hips. And we're going to start our practice today with some pranayama, some breath work to really get that energy and vitality flowing. We're going to be doing Kapalabhati, or can be translated as skull shining breath or forehead shining breath. It's going to be, we're going to inhale a deep breath and then partially exhale. And then we're going to be doing these short staccato exhales by contracting our abdominal muscles about roughly once a second for about a minute, and our body just naturally inhales after each exhale. If you've never done it before, don't worry, just give it a try and see how it goes for you. So we're going to be taking a deep abdominal breath, exhaling partially, and then contracting our abdominal muscles for a quick exhale, like that. And you see how your body naturally inhales? Deep breath, partially exhale. And release the rest of your breath. And inhale deeply. How did that go for you? We're going to do one more round. So again, we're going to inhale deeply, exhale partially, and then just a quick abdominal contraction. That sounds really weird, but it's just that quick contraction of our core muscles to produce that quick staccato exhale, and then allow our body to naturally do a quick inhale before repeating. Deep breath in, partial exhale. Exhale. Inhale deeply. And how do you feel? Sit for a minute and just notice the effect of pranayama on your body. This is a really energizing breath, so it's a wonderful practice for in the morning or when you need a pick-me-up throughout the day. Might earn you some weird looks from your coworkers, but who cares, right? So we're going to go ahead now and meet in tabletop. You can move your prop to one side of the mat. Stack your shoulders over your wrists, hips over your knees. Find a nice neutral spine. Really grip through your fingers. When you do that, it takes the pressure out of your wrist, and I know it's more uncomfortable at first when you're not used to it, but you're just building up that muscle. On your inhale, drop the belly, rise your hips to the sky, and exhale, round the spine, really pressing into your hands. Inhale, drop the belly, hips to the sky, pressing away from the mat. Exhale, rise the back to the sky, rounding through. Take whatever movements feel good to you here. You might bump your hips to one side and look over that shoulder. Get a good side stretch. Try to match your movement to your breath. Might take some hip dips. Whatever you want. And we'll meet back in tabletop when you're ready. Take your right leg and stretch it out behind you with your right foot parallel to the short end of the mat. Really press through your left foot. Stack the shoulder over your wrist and raise your right hand. Stretch it forward to the front of the mat for a nice side plank variation. Great for your balance. Engage your core and release. Back to tabletop. Extend your left leg behind you in line with your right leg. Stack your shoulder over your wrist and extend your left arm in front. Gazing forward. And release back to tabletop. Grip through your fingers, tuck your toes, press the mat away to raise your hips to the sky for our first downward dog. Pedal through your feet. Remember, never try to push yourself into any position that's painful. So bend your knees as much as you need here. Grip through those fingers to release the pressure from the wrist. Then on your next exhale, we're going to step to our hands and release into a forward fold. And remember, you don't have to be all the way down here in your forward fold. This is a good opportunity to use your block if you need, to give yourself some support and not put too much pressure on your hamstrings if they're tight. Or you can take and bring opposite hand to opposite elbow and release your head here. Sway side to side.
And on your next inhale, slowly roll up, vertebrae by vertebrae.
And we'll meet in mountain pose. Really root through your feet, pressing through your big toe and your little toe. Relax your shoulders down, engage your core, bring your lower ribs together, really cinch up through your front line. Then inhale your hands to the sky. Exhale, forward fold, hinging from the hips, keeping our back straight. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to plank. You might bring your knees to the ground here as we lower into chaturanga. Turn your feet over and press up to upward facing dog. Really engaging the core to protect our lower back. Then exhale, lift the hips to the sky, downward facing dog. Remember to keep your shoulders externally rotated so that your armpits are waving at each other. Pedal through your feet. And after your next exhale, step to meet your hands at the top of the mat. Halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up. Hands to heart. Inhale, hands to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Really engaging through the core to lift us up. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to plank. Drop your knees if you need to lower into chaturanga. Flip the feet, press up to upward facing dog. Your shoulders here are going to be stacked over your wrists. Exhale, turn your feet over and press your hips up and back to downward facing dog. Take a few breaths. Remember to keep pressing through your fingers. After your next exhale, step to meet your hands at the top of the mat. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, hands to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, hands to the sky. Exhale, forward fold, keeping that spine straight. Inhale, halfway lift. Your hands can be anywhere here, maybe on your shins, they may be down on the ground still, maybe on your inner thigh. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to plank, your version of it, chaturanga, and press upward into upward facing dog, keeping that your core nicely engaged to protect the spine. Exhale, press back, hips to the sky, downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here. Inhale the right leg to the sky, nice and strong. Keep your hips level here. And then bring your right foot all the way through to your hands at the front of the mat. Your back foot is going to turn outward slightly, about in line with your knee. Really ground through your feet and rise up strong into Warrior One. Try to keep your spine stacked over your hips here. Core engaged, your front knee stacked over your front ankle. Hands to the sky. I'm going to switch sides here so that I can see you. As we transition from Warrior 1 to Warrior 2, we shift our left foot to be parallel with the back edge of the mat and extend our hands forward and back, really stretching through our fingers. Inhale, bring our right hand up and back to reversed warrior. Your left arm may be resting on your back leg. You might take a bind and wrap it behind your torso. Gaze up to your upper hand. And exhale, lean forward, resting your right elbow on your right knee. Be sure not to collapse into your elbow here, but keep your core engaged. Your left hand stretching to the sky. Then we straighten the right leg, shift our hips back, and come into Trikonasana, releasing our right hand down, keeping our core engaged. Release the top arm down as we turn to face our front foot, turn our back foot in. You might need to bring it up a bit, that's fine. And we lean forward, keeping our spine straight into pyramid pose. You can take any variation with your hands here. It might be hands to the heart. You might touch the ground. This is a good spot. I lost my prop. This might be a good spot to use your prop for some support. Engage the core, keep the spine straight. Exhale, plant the hands. Release down onto the left knee. Low lunge. Shine your heart forward. It's got a good stretch here in not the hamstring, the hip flexor of your left leg. Plant your hands. Tuck your left toes in. Step your right foot back to meet the left, downward facing dog. Remember to grip through your fingers. Rotate your shoulders out for a nice broad upper back. Inhale, left leg to the sky. Keep your hips level. Exhale, bring your left leg up and through. Turn your right foot so it's out just a bit, about in line with your knee. Left knee stacked over left ankle and rise up strong to Warrior 1. Hands to the sky, spine stacked over your hips. And once again, I'm going to switch sides so that I don't turn my back on you. Then we're going to shift our back foot so that's in line with the back edge of the mat. Extend our arms out, really stretching all the way through our fingers to Warrior 2. Inhale, rise your left hand up and back. You can either take your arm along your back leg here or wrap it around your torso, whatever feels good. Stay engaged through your spine. Exhale, lean forward. Left elbow to left knee. Right arm overhead. Side angle. Straighten the front leg. Shift your hips back. And extend your arms long. This is another good position to use your block to support you here. As you gaze up to the sky, exhale, turn so that you're facing over your front leg. Turn your back foot in. You might need to step your back leg up a little bit. Take whatever variation hands here as we bend forward, keeping our spine straight, our hips even and shining forward towards the front edge of the mat. In pyramid pose. Remember to use your prop here to help you if you need. Exhale, plant your hands, lower your back leg into a low lunge. Shine your heart forward. Plant your hands, tuck your back toes, rise your hips and step back to downward dog. Pedal out here if you need. Take a few breaths. On your next inhale, rise the right foot to the sky, keeping your hips level. Really press through both hands, your fingers, clawing through them to take the pressure out of your wrists. And then gently yawn your right hip open to stack your pelvis. If this is accessible for you, go ahead and let your right foot come all the way to the ground behind you. Remember, never come into any pose that is painful for you. As you come into Wild Thing, exhale, bring your right hand back to the mat and come back into downward facing dog. Keeping our shoulders rotating outward. On your next inhale, rise the left leg up, hips level, and yawn the left hip open. Pressing through both hands evenly. And if it's accessible to you, take and bring the left foot down to the ground behind you and come into Wild Thing. Flipping into this beautiful back bend. Such an exhilarating pose. And then bringing our left hand back to the mat and our left leg to meet our right downward facing dog. On your next exhale, step to meet your hands at the front of the mat. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, rise all the way up. Release our hands to our heart. Inhale, hands to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant our hands, step back to plank to chaturanga. Press up to upward facing dog. Exhale, press to downward dog, hips to the sky. And bring our knees to the ground. Sit back onto our heels. Bring our knees to the outside edges of the mat and release our arms forward. Relax into child's pose. You might bring your chin to the ground here, or your forehead, or maybe one ear or the other. Whatever's comfortable for you. Feel your back stretch as you breathe deep. Inhale, walk your hands towards you to come up onto your knees. And we're going to gently swing them to one side and come into a seat. Extending our right leg out long, And bringing our left leg so that our foot is against our inner thigh. Flex our right toes towards our face. We're going to lay our right arm inside of our right leg and inhale, bringing our left arm forward and rotating our chest to shine up towards the sky. Breathe here. Remember to relax your shoulders down. Exhale, release. Back to center. Switch sides, bringing our left leg out, our right leg in. Left arm lays inside left leg. Inhale, right arm comes forward. And then rotate your chest up to the sky. Deep breaths here. Exhale, back to center. Both feet meet in the center for Baddha Konasana, or butterfly pose. You can have your feet farther away from you if your legs are really tight, or you can bring them in closer, whatever is comfortable for you. Bring your hands to clasp around your toes. Really sit up as straight as you can, spine stacked over your hips. And then we slowly lean forward as far as is accessible for you. Bringing our elbows onto our legs. Keeping our heart shining forward. Not just collapsing and rounding through the back, but really keeping our spine straight. Inhale, come back up. Take your left leg and bring your left foot around so your heel is to your hip, and bring your right leg over your left, so that your right foot has your sole flat on the ground. If this is accessible for you, you can wrap your left arm around your right knee and bring your right hand behind your back. Inhaling, keeping the spine long. Exhaling, relaxing into a twist. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, relax into the twist. Inhale to come back. Switch sides. Bringing your right leg bent in front of you, and then your left leg over your right. Right arm nestles around your left knee. Bring your left hand behind you. Inhale for a long spine, and exhale, relax into a twist. Looking over your left shoulder. Remember not to push yourself into the twist. Just inhale for a long spine and then relax into the twist. Exhale, release. And we'll go ahead and come onto our back. So we'll meet at the end of the mat and bring our knees up and gently roll back. Once you're laying down on your mat, I guess you can't really see me behind the grass. So I'll switch sides again. Roll down onto the mat. Snuggle your shoulders behind your heart space. Tuck your pelvis so that your lower back is flush with the mat. Straighten your left leg. Bring your right knee into your chest and then gently release it over to the left. You might bring your right arm into a cactus pose here, maybe come onto your right ear if that's accessible for you. Feel that nice twist in your spine. This is so good for your digestive system, for your solar plexus chakra. Exhale, come back to center. Switch legs. Extending your right leg out long, bringing your left leg into your chest. Bring your left leg over to the right. Left arm extends, maybe come onto your left ear if that's comfortable for you. Release back to center. And tuck your hips so that your lower back is flush with the mat. As we relax our arms to the side, our legs slightly apart, and take our final Shavasana. I know it's tempting to skip Shavasana and just get on with our day, but Shavasana allows our body to enter into our parasympathetic state. Which is what heals all of our stress and really allows the benefits of our yoga practice to integrate. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Take a deep breath here. Stretch your arms and your feet, your legs, your torso, just a nice big full body stretch. And roll over to one side, coming into a nice little fetal position, or bean pose. And then press up into a seat when you're ready. Thank you again for joining me on the mat today. I wish you a beautiful solstice, and I'll see you later. Bye, friends.